Knicks family, what's poppin'? Is your boy. We saw the Knicks lose a close one to the Denver Nuggets last night. It snapped the losing streak, but they're going to look to restart the losing streak versus the Atlanta Hawks tomorrow night. So let's talk about it.
That's the jig.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get right to the point today and jump right on into it. The Knicks play the Atlanta Hawks tomorrow night at 7:30 at Madison Square Garden. And look, the Knicks played the Hawks in preseason, and they lost 100-96. We're going to take a look at that game. Not the game, but we're going to look at some of those stats from that game, which was, 2 months ago or whatever it was. You guys remember Vince Carter had a night at the Garden, even though it was preseason. He had a night at the Garden. He was killing the Knicks. But let's take a look at this game and see if the Knicks can restart their streak playing one of the weaker teams in the league. The Knicks head coach, it's Mike Miller, interim head coach. And so far under Mike Miller, they've played well. They're 2-3. They're 2-3. They've been blown out one time by the Portland Trail Blazers. All other games have been down to the wire. So we can take something from that. The Atlanta Hawks head coach is Lloyd Pierce. For the Knicks, the projected starters are Frank Ntilikina at point guard, R.J. Barrett at shooting guard, or those two could be switched around. It could be R.J. Barrett at point guard and Frank Ntilikina at shooting guard. Well, whatever they decide to list them, doesn't really matter much. Marcus Morris at small forward, Julius Randle at power forward, and Taj Gibson at center. Reggie Bullock is out with a neck. Wayne Ellington with a sore left Achilles. For the Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young, he's starting at point guard. Pretty much knew that. Kevin Huerter, he's at shooting guard. DeAndre Hunter is at small forward. Jabari Parker at power forward. And Damian Jones at center. And I'm going to tell you what. I liked what I saw in the preseason from DeAndre Hunter when the Knicks played the Atlanta Hawks. I thought he played very well. And I think we need to watch out for this guy tomorrow night. Okay? I like DeAndre Hunter. I like what he brings to the game. He's a defensive guy, but he was showing a good mid-range game when we played against him in the preseason. Of course, that's the preseason. This is the regular season. Things change a lot. Things change a lot. Let's take a look at some of the stats behind the game, of course. The Knicks are 6-21 on the season, so are the Atlanta Hawks. The Knicks have a 1-game losing streak. They just came off of a 2-game winning streak. Then they lost last night to the Denver Nuggets. A game in which they had a lead. They were down 20. They came back, took the lead in the fourth quarter, but they couldn't finish it out. They were held scoreless not scoreless, but they were outscored 13-3 in the last 4 minutes and 30 seconds of the game, or 13-5 the last 4 minutes and 30 seconds of the game. They went a good 3 minutes or so without scoring. The Atlanta Hawks, during a 4-game losing streak, they lost last night to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Knicks averaged 101.2 points per game. They give up 111.1 points per game. They shoot 42.2% from the field, 34.4% from three, and they average 45.3 rebounds per game. They also average 20.1 assists per game and 14.6 turnovers per game. The Knicks' offensive rating is 102.6. That's 30th in the league. And their defensive rating is 112.6. That's 25th in the league. But look, they're playing a team that's just not that good either. Again, the Hawks' losing streak is at 4. They average 108.1 points per game. They give up 117.8 points per game. They shoot 44.9% from the field, 33.9% from three. They average 42.1 rebounds per game, 23.6 assists per game, and 17.5 turnovers per game. Their offensive rating is 104.4. That's 26th in the league. And their defensive rating is 113.6. That's 27th in the league. This is a team, ladies and gentlemen. If you're going to restart a streak, you can restart the streak with these guys. And they're going to be at home. But there's a guy we got to watch out for. Got to watch out for Trae Young, ladies and gentlemen. So Frank Ntilikina, you got to be on your job tomorrow night. Trae Young, he's 6'1", 180 pounds. He's averaging 27.8 points per game this season, 4.2 rebounds, 8.5 assists. He averages 1.2 steals per game. He shoots 44.3% from the field and 36.8% from three. He is a guy that you got to defend him. We're going to talk about how to defend him. Frank Ntilikina, 6'7", 200 pounds, guard forward. He averages 6.1 points per game, 2.2 rebounds per game, 3.1 assists, and 1.4 steals per game. He shoots 38.2% from the field and 32.8% from three. But let's talk about this matchup. Because the last thing that we need is for Trae Young to get loose against us. Okay? That's the last thing that we need. We don't need that to happen. But it can happen. See, if you remember from the last game, from the preseason game, the Hawks, they run Trae Young off of a lot of screens. They set a lot of screens for the guy. So it's going to be important, vitally important, that we don't switch as much. And we let Frank Ntilikina fight over these screens. But this is what we got to do. We need for our big men to kind of hedge just a little bit, right? Because they're going to set a lot of screens for Trae Young. It's going to be impossible for Frank Ntilikina to fight over every single screen and be there, bam, on a dime. So our big men, you're going to have to do a good job. Frank Ntilikina gets a screen. You hedge a little bit, just enough to slow up Trae Young as Frank Ntilikina recovers. Elfrid Payton as well. All right, and then you get back to your guys. And then you need the backside guys to help out as well. All right, so let's say Taj Gibson is defending whoever is screening for Trae Young. Taj Gibson is going to help out just a little bit. And as Taj Gibson is helping out, somebody else on the backside is going to slide over and help out Taj Gibson, so that Taj Gibson's man doesn't get the pass off the roll or the alley-oop. And then once Frank Ntilikina recovers, which he's got to do quickly, because if not, Trae Young is going to find somebody. He's averaging like 8 assists per game. Once Frank Ntilikina recovers, Taj Gibson can recover to his man, then that person can recover to their man. The person who helped out Taj Gibson can recover to their man. All right, so it's really got to be a team defense on a string so that we do not let Trae Young pick us apart. All right, but we need Frank Ntilikina to be tight on Trae Young, because if he's not tight on Trae Young, he'll start getting loose from three. And if he starts getting loose from three, we're going to be in trouble, because then it's going to really loosen up that the offense, or loosen up the defense, so that they can get a lot of penetration and get in the lane. They already score a lot of points in the paint. That's something we're going to talk about in our keys to the game. But this is definitely a key matchup. Frank Ntilikina versus Trae Young. All right, it's a very key matchup, and Frank Ntilikina's got to be on his job. When Elfrid Payton gets in the game, he's got to be on his job. I do not expect to see Dennis Smith Jr. much tomorrow night. We haven't seen him in 2 games. I don't expect him to come in and play tomorrow night when we're facing a guard like Trae Young, who can be explosive. So, That's my key matchup for this game, ladies and gentlemen. That's my key matchup. Now let's talk about some of the keys of the game. All right, some of the keys to this game. As soon as I get it back up on my screen, I'm going to get to the keys to the game. Here we go. Keys to the game, ladies and gentlemen. The first key to this game, obviously, is continue to bring the energy. We've been playing with energy. We got to continue to bring that energy. All right, it's been good so far. It's been good. We got to continue to bring it. Continue to bring it. All right. My next key to the game, make it hard on Trae Young. We were just talking about how Trae Young, they run Trae Young off of a lot of screens. Right? I mean, he uses 2-3 screens every possession. One of the ways, and we seen it happen to us the other day against Golden State. Every single time a screener came for Frank Ntilikina or Elfrid Payton in the second half of the game, every time a screener came, the person who was defending the screener would trap. Now, when they trapped us, we turned the ball over. We're not going to expect Trae Young to turn the ball over. But he'll probably be able to pass out of the trap. Which, okay, you know what? He's averaging 28 points per game, basically. Let him pass out of the trap and see if somebody else can beat us. Jabari Parker averages 16 points per game. Collins, I think he averages 17 points per game. Let's see if those guys can get 35 points or something. See what they do. He's obviously the most prolific player that they have. Let's see if we can trap him up. He's 6'1". All right, you got a guy, Frank Ntilikina, that's 6'7". Even Elfrid Payton, if he's guarding him, is 6'4". Got 3 inches in height on him. All right, so let's see if we can trap Trae Young. We got to protect the paint as well. Okay, the Hawks, they score 52.4 points per game in the paint. That's 4th in the league. We've got to do a good job protecting the paint, ladies and gentlemen. We don't do a good job protecting the paint, then we're going to be in trouble playing against these guys. All right, one of the reasons why they score so many points in the paint is probably because of Trae Young. All right, Trae Young does a good job getting in the paint off of the many screens that they give for him. Right, they continue to screen for this guy, screen for this guy, screen for this guy, and he gets into the paint. Trae Young, when we played him in the offseason or in the preseason, he had 23 points. As a matter of fact, I'll bring this on over so you guys can check out and see what I'm looking at as I'm reading it to you. All right. Trae Young had 23 points the last game we played him. And yes, that game was during, it was a preseason game, but whatever. Trae Young had 23 points. All right. He had 9 assists. We allowed these guys, we allowed Trae Young to get loose on us and get assists and get in the paint. Right? We allowed Trae Young to get in the paint. We allowed Trae Young to come off these screens, get in the paint, and create. All right, so we really got to limit these guys getting in the paint. Part of that is going to be trapping Trae Young, keeping him out of the paint, not letting him find DeAndre Hunter, Jabari Parker, John Collins. I don't think John Collins played against us the last time we played. So we're going to see. We're going to see how that goes. And keeping that guy out the paint is not going to be an easy task. All right. The next key to the game, ladies and gentlemen, is to win the rebounding battle. We lost the rebounding battle to these guys, by 13, 14 rebounds last time. It was 50-something to 40-something, something like that. We should be able to win the rebounding battle. We should be close. We should never lose the rebounding battle by double digits. We should either win the rebounding battle, or if another team gets more rebounds, it's, 1 or 2 rebounds or 3 rebounds or something like that. We should never get killed on the boards. We got enough rebounders. We should not get killed on the boards. We need to win. I just said win the rebounding battle. We need to keep a starter in with the bench. I think this is key, and not just for this game, but for every game that we play. We do not have a team that's good enough to have our entire bench on the floor and think that we're going to win. If you watched last night's game against the Nuggets, when the bench came in, the game went to trash. The Nuggets took a huge lead. We brought it back when we put our starters back in the game. All right. In the second half, you see that Mike Miller always kept somebody in the game. Marcus Morris, Julius Randle. Always kept one of those guys in the game. This is what we have to do. I don't think you can depend on our bench to be productive on a regular basis. It's going to be some nights they are, some nights they're not. And you see that bench is getting shortened. Last night, Mike Miller played 9 guys. No Alonzo Trier, no Dennis Smith Jr. He played 9 guys. Don't be surprised if that bench stays at 9 guys. And he always has one of those starters in the game. I think from now on, we need to keep one of our starters in the game. Whoever it is, if someone's having a really good game, keep him in the game. Of course, you're going to sub him out every once in a while because you got to do that. This guy's got to get a break. Keep somebody in the game. And then we need ball movement and attack the paint, ladies and gentlemen. While the Hawks score 52.4 points per game in the paint, they give up 51.9 points per game in the paint. All right, so we can score against these guys in the paint. We got to utilize that. Right, we're going to have bigger guards than Trae Young. Maybe see if we can get Frank Ntilikina in the post every once in a while. See if he can do something out of the post. Maybe he can shoot over top of Trae Young. Frank Ntilikina, by the way, had 13 points last night. Right, scored them, all of them just about in the first half, but hey, he had 13 points. All right, see if we can take advantage of some guys in the paint. We shoot a lot of mid-range jump shots, the Knicks do. Marcus Morris shoots a lot of mid-range jump shots. Julius Randle, he gets to the cup, but sometimes he shoots mid-range jump shots. Frank Ntilikina, most of his shots are mid-range jump shots. R.J. Barrett sometimes pulls too many mid-range jump shots, although he does go to the basket, try to bully himself in. That's usually when he has success. So we need to attack the paint. We need to move the ball, keep it moving, and attack the paint. All right. Also, these guys are, I think, 23rd in the league in allowing other teams to score on the break. So we need to try to score in transition. We can get the ball out the net, push it up the floor. Get downhill on them. Mike Miller talks about playing downhill. Get downhill. I don't know. Maybe you do play Dennis Smith Jr. a little bit. I don't think he's going to because of defensively, he doesn't bring it. And I think Mike Miller has found a comfort zone with Frank Ntilikina and Elfrid Payton, the way that he's using them. So there's a lot of questions about Dennis Smith Jr. Listen, Dennis Smith Jr. wasn't happy with what was taking place in Dallas. How's this going to go over with Dennis Smith Jr. and his team? I don't know. Bottom line is Dennis Smith Jr.'s got to bring it on both ends of the floor, but we'll keep watching that, see how that's going to go over. But we got to move the ball and attack the paint, ladies and gentlemen. Those are my keys to the game. That's my breakdown of the game. I'll do it once more later on, just before I get off. All right, because I got about 15, 20 more minutes, and I'm going to take a couple of phone calls, see what you guys are thinking. All right? Caller, you're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
Hey, Sim, how you doing? This is Kevin from Plainfield, New Jersey. How you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. Yo, just wanted to talk about last night's game and what you and Gilmore and everybody was talking last night about the trades. Was last night, I'm seeing a lot of positives under Mike Miller. Just the overall attitude of the team. We haven't really seen that, all season. I like the way Frank and Elfrid are playing as far as the point guards. It was good to see Frank hitting shots last night. think Randall, along with a lot of the other ones, are just playing with a lot of more spirit and control. I like the way Mike Miller's calling the timeouts at certain junctures, and it's just a different feel that I'm seeing. There's not a lot of switching on defense. Um, and I think that was a lot of times their Achilles heel. The one thing I will say last night in that game, in the first half, I think sometimes Portis, who I like, gets too wrapped up defensively, and I mean defensively, he loses his man at times, and I think during that stretch, he lost his man a lot, and I think that's the reason why they was going up 20. What do you think of that?
I have to really go back and look at the game and see,
Yeah,
kind of, break it down and really just watch Julius Randle. Um, I think for the most part, though, when they went up 20, that bench came into the game. And,
right.
when the bench came into the game from the about 2 or 3 minutes left in the first quarter, till about
Yeah,
9 minutes or so in the second quarter, that's when you seen the Nuggets really push that lead up. I just don't
right.
think the bench didn't
And
do
I
their
and I
job.
right, and I think that Portis was on that second unit, during those times and everything, and I just saw him losing his man a lot, and eh, I mean, it's just a nitpick, but overall, it's just a different feel with this
It is.
Knicks team right now, and I know it's only I guess what, 5 games under Mike Miller. Um, I just like the result that's really happening, and as far as the trades, I agree with you and Gilmore and everybody about Morris. Um, I for one, I was against trading him, but from what y'all were saying, I could see where y'all are coming from. I wouldn't mind him, trading him for especially to that Clippers trade. I wouldn't mind that happening, and I just think that a vet like him, the young the young players really respect and can really learn, from him. So that's the reason why I would want him, a part of this Knicks organization. Again, it comes to the contracts and everything, but of how much he's going to be asking for. So, but I can see where y'all are coming from, and I wouldn't mind him, just so that he comes, with the understanding that he comes back next year and everything. But again, it all depends on how much money he's going to be asking for. My question is, I heard a lot about wanting to trade Alonzo Trier as well. My concern with that is I don't want him to go to another team and he turn out to be like another Lou Williams. When that team just lets him do what he does and everything, and it comes back to bite us. That's my only fear. What do you say to that?
Yeah. It's I don't know what to think about what's happening with Alonzo Trey. He was a darling of the team last year. Now it's like you don't hear from him or anything about his playing time. He's making $3.3 million this year. You know, um,
Yeah.
he's
So
an unrestricted free
you would
agent.
think that I mean, I don't know what it is with what it was with Fizdale, but I was hoping that Mike would find some minutes for him and everything. As much as we say, oh, you got to play defense and defense, um, I think he just needs the time so that he can play defense and everything. But I just like want to see him in there, just to see. I mean, we already know. Unfortunately, I hate to say this, but we already know what we're getting out of Dennis Smith Jr. He might have to be that uh the point guard that's playing right now for Golden State, D'Angelo Russell. When he was first with the Lakers, he wasn't doing so well, and then he comes over to Brooklyn, and his career is like totally revitalized. Maybe DSJ, that has to happen to him as well. You don't know. But
Yeah, I mean,
with Alonzo
yeah,
Trier, he just gets you buckets all the time. So,
yeah. I mean, the only
I
thing I
just don't
can
want him to
say,
leave.
yeah, the only thing I can say uh, is it tells a story when you have Wayne Ellington out, right? So you're down a guard. And then last night, let me pull this up just so I can be sure. Damian Dotson only played 6 minutes last night, right?
Yeah.
So it tells a story when you have one guard out, and then Damian Dotson only plays 6 minutes, and Dennis Smith Jr. and Alonzo Trier, who are both healthy. Well, actually, I'm sorry, Alonzo Trier is not healthy. He's dealing with a concussion protocol. So it tells a story about Dennis Smith Jr. We'll see what happens when Alonzo Trier gets back from that concussion protocol, right? But
how long does that? I'm sorry. How long does that concussion protocol? How long does it take? How many days?
Man,
does that take?
it could take from a week to 2 or 3 weeks, man. It depends on if you continue to have symptoms. I guess him and I forgot who it was. Him and somebody smashed heads during practice, and so he's dealing with a concussion right now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So we'll see. We'll see when he gets back how Mike Miller uses him.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, I just don't want that. A guy that we had, he goes somewhere else and just goes ballistic, and then he has us in the rear back mirror, like, yeah, I'm gonna, make sure I, take it to this team because they gave up on me and everything. But then again, that's like that with, with all players and everything. So, but that's
I hear you, man.
So that's about it.
All right, man. Hey, I appreciate the call.
Hey, no problem. Again, this ain't Steve Mills.
Yeah. All right. No doubt.
All right, man. All right, Stem. Take it easy.
All right, later. Okay. And I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it definitely tells a story when Dennis Smith Jr., you're down Alonzo Trier to a concussion protocol. Wayne Ellington is out, sore left Achilles. And still, Dennis Smith Jr. didn't get off the bench. That kind of lets you know where he stands right now with Mike Miller, in my opinion. Bottom line, that lets you know where he stands. I got Mark up here in the chat. I want to talk to Mark. Big shout out to you guys, man. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to join me. I do want to remind you that starting January the 6th on Sportscaster, exclusively on Sportscaster, I'm going to have a brand new show called Knicks Weekly. And I want you guys to be part of that show, man. I really do. So I'm dropping a link in the YouTube chat right now. Make sure that you follow me on Sportscaster, okay? So that you can be part of the show. It's going to be every Monday beginning January 6th. I plan on doing it at 11 a.m. every Monday. So as you're gearing up, getting ready to go on your lunch break, I'm saying you could join me to be about an hour show, and we'll wrap up everything that's going on for the Knicks for the week. Be exclusively on Sportscaster, so make sure you follow me there. Right? Mark, I'm coming to you, my man. See what's going on with you. I ain't seen you in a couple of days. Hair's growing out. You know what I'm saying? Let me get you unmuted here. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
What's going on, kid?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling.
I just got home from work. What's going on, man? What's
good,
the deal,
man?
Yo?
So tell me what you think, man. What's going on? We're 2-3 since Mike Miller took over. We've been playing better, right? We've been blown out one time versus the Portland Trail Blazers. Now we're going to try to start a new streak versus the Atlanta Hawks.
All right. In the Hawks game, just blitz the hell out of Trae Young, get the ball out of his hand, and let everyone around him score. That's what a lot of teams are doing to him right now. And it's helping. So what I would do is I would have Mitch and Frank blitz him in pick and roll situations when he want to use the pick and roll because that's his offense. You just blitz him, get the ball out of his hands. Once you get the ball out of his hand, we'll have a chance to beat Atlanta. Just don't have him masquerading around pick and rolls. Then he'll kill you with his passing and his scoring and just mixing up the game. But I have something to say about the trading deadline and everything. With Marcus Morris. I want him here. Like, I kind of want him here for a reason.
I feel you.
Again, we have young players, right? And where the Knicks at right now, we need someone that has like a voice in the locker room or even on the court or even have a presence out on the floor because, again, we don't have like a transcendent talent where younger players could follow. So I will consider keeping Marcus Morris, depending on if the Clippers want him. If the Clippers want him, Clippers would have to give me the Harkless kid, Jerome Robinson, and a 2020 first round pick that they have. I think it's unprotected. If we don't get that from them, I don't look to trade Marcus Morris. And another thing, I think all this is playing in my books how I want it. If the way the Suns are looking now, if they continue to keep rolling, I'm still thinking about that Devin Booker trade. So I want everybody to chill out on the trading because I think with Trier, Julius Randle, Kevin Knox, and them Dallas picks and probably another Knicks pick, it's going to play a big, big role in one of these other stars just wanting to leave sooner or later. It's going to be either Devin Booker, Karl-Anthony Towns. I have a feeling.
Well, let me tell you something.
They're going to ask for a trade. And Devin Booker is the one guy that I want badly.
Let me tell you something. I've always had a feeling that Karl-Anthony Towns is going to look to get out of Minnesota sooner or later. And I have no doubt in my mind that when and if he looks to get out of Minnesota, he's definitely going to consider New York. I know he's going to consider New York.
Him and Booker are and again, the Knicks are in a great spot. We're in a great spot, depending on if one of those two asks for a trade. Because if we're getting rid of young players to add like Devin Booker or Karl-Anthony Towns, which is going to happen, and getting rid of one of those two of those Dallas picks. Or maybe another. I don't care. If I can get a caliber talent like that, because if I get either him or Devin Booker, that gives me a viable chance of 2021 and enticing Giannis to come. And plus, we will have numerous of cap space to surround talent around those two. But it only depends on if you get one of those young thoroughbreds. Because ain't no star in this league ain't playing with no role players. So I'm looking to keep Marcus Morris if Clippers don't give me what I want. Jerome Robinson, Mark Harkless, and a 2020. Other than that, I want to keep Morris. I want to keep everybody as of right now until I hear one of those young thoroughbreds ask for a trade, or if the Clippers are going to give me that package to take Morris. The Knicks, that would be the best thing because that Jerome Robinson kid, he can't get minutes on this Clippers team. But that kid can score the basketball. Like he's an upgrade from Trey. I think he can play more off the ball. He's more of a team scorer, not like a lone ranger scorer that can score, that needs the ball. You don't need the ball to score. I like him a lot. Coming out of college, he was really, really, really good. But he's not going to get the minutes on that Clippers team to really show his talent. He's just one of those. He reminds me of CJ McCollum a lot. He just got to get his minutes to show his talent. So I kind of want to hold off on trades because a lot of our salary cap, especially for that Devin Booker is only getting paid $27 million. So the Knicks would unload Randall, Kevin Knox, Trey, and them 2 first-round picks. And I'll throw in a second round if they want it. Just give me a young thoroughbred like those two, and then we could really have an identity. Because I was on my way home from the train, and I was watching the game on the train. And Mike Miller can coach from a standpoint. If his pieces just wasn't so mismatched, boy, if you just put a team together because the identity is there to what he wants to do. And defensively, Jesus Christ, he got schemes, man. He got a scheme going on because in that Denver game, we went down 20. And then he brought in that bench. When he brings in that bench could fly defensively compared to the first starting lineup because the starting lineup can't move like that because we have a lot of guys that's not really fast not fast footed. But when he brings in that second unit, because if you watch games, sometimes that second unit always brings us back into games defensively.
Well, in the first half, that second unit gave up the lead. Well, I mean, that bench, that second unit allowed Denver to extend their lead. It was when they came in, it was like a 4 or 5 point lead. Next thing you know was 15, 16 point lead. Because that bench didn't play well.
What was crazy, we couldn't guard the paint. I'm yelling on the train. I'm like, God, the goddamn paint. We didn't, and the threes was clicking for them like that, but we was getting killed in the paint more than getting killed on threes in that game. Mm-hmm. For some reason, Knicks just wasn't guarding the paint that night. But when he brought in that second unit, just from a flying around defensively and trying to hone in the defense, it just looks better sometimes with the second unit and stuff like that. Sometimes. I
think what he has to do, I think it looks best when he keeps one of
when he keeps one of the guys
one of
on
those
the floor.
starters in the game. You got to have one of those starters in the game. Then I think it works out.
And I want to point something out. I really want to point something out because it got me tight that the other night. When we was up 3, right? The shooting selection by that man number 30 pissed me off. Sam, why did he? When we was up 3, I just remember him taking a left corner 3. Which was not needed, even though we got the foul on that same possession. The late game shooting decisions by those two, sometimes it boils my skin because I looked at the offense throughout the fourth quarter. It was a lot of Randall Morris. And then when RJ gets the ball, he gets put in weird situations where he has to force up shots or he goes quick because he knows he's not going to get the ball when he needs to. There's times where I saw RJ cutting and not getting the ball on the dime to score in the paint. He has to clean that up, and Randall has to know, bro, stop it. Not every play calls for you to be the superhero when games are that tight. We cannot win that way. And we could have had that game. So I want him and Morris to stop sometimes that hero ball. And that bad selection shooting by Randall kills me every time.
I don't automatically absolve RJ because RJ he had some bad shots as well. You can't automatically absolve RJ.
Those come off him not getting the ball.
It's not always, man. Sometimes, I mean, he's a rookie. He's entitled to have his bad shots, but listen, that whole team was taking bad shots in that fourth quarter.
Boy,
you know what I'm saying? The whole team was taking bad shots in the fourth quarter last night.
I said, "What the hell are you doing? What are you doing?"
You know what I mean? The whole team. I look at two. I feel like in that fourth quarter, Frank Ntilikina and Taj Gibson should have been in the game. RJ was not having a good game. I don't think he should have been in the fourth quarter.
Sometimes his late game selection is the same as Fizz at time because I said as much as I like RJ, I said, yo, you had to take him out because he was abysmal that game. He was abysmal in the fourth quarter. So sometimes he has his substitution is as bad. Sometimes.
I don't know if it's bad. I just feel like he should have last night. He should have had Frank Ntilikina in the fourth quarter, and he should have had Taj Gibson in the fourth quarter.
He should have because Randall was bad. RJ was bad. He was bad.
Taj Gibson played 5 minutes and 45 seconds in the fourth quarter. Frank Ntilikina played 5 minutes and 45 seconds in the fourth quarter.
I don't know. Sometimes Sim, he just ride the guys that just get him there, and sometimes it's hard. It's hard to take out a rotation that is working for you late in games.
But I don't know if it was RJ Barrett played 12. Listen, RJ Barrett played 12 minutes in the fourth quarter. All right, he was 1 for 5 and 1 for 4 from the 3-point line in the fourth quarter.
He was bad. He was bad. But sometimes, I think sometimes the kid need to feel the ball because he's more of a rhythm player other than give him the ball and he go create for himself.
I mean, listen, he took the second most
in his game, and he's not fast enough to really create for himself. So it has to be a lot of ball touching and a lot of quick passes for him to feel like he's in the offense. A lot of time he's out of it. I'll be watching him.
Listen, he took
for his style of game.
Look, last night, he took the second most shots in the fourth quarter. He took 5. He took 5 shots in the fourth quarter. All right, Julius Randle took 8. He was 3 for 8 in the fourth quarter. Marcus Morris was 0 for 4 in the fourth quarter. And Taj Gibson, his 5 minutes and 45 seconds, he was 2 for 3 in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
All right. I mean,
I hear what you're saying, but it's about possession for possession, how much you touch the ball within possessions.
I get it. But this is what I'm saying. But this is, look, in the entire second half, RJ Barrett took 6 shots in the entire second half.
Okay.
5 of those 6 shots came in the fourth quarter. He was getting his touches. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes he bailed himself out by taking the 3. Listen, I seen 2 or 3 times when he got the ball with 6 or 7 seconds left on the shot clock, and he bailed himself out with a 3 instead of trying to go to the basket.
Oh no, I seen that play. That's because when he's getting the ball in those possessions, those passes are coming off because either Morris don't got it or Randle don't got it. I saw a lot of those shots that he got in the fourth quarter that was predicated on last minute shot, and you cannot give it to him in those. You can't give it to him in those possessions.
But see, I don't think that. But see, this is where I disagree, because I don't think if you get the ball with 7 seconds, you got enough time. There's enough time where you can still go to the cup. You know what I'm saying? There's enough time. I've seen him get.
7 seconds is more for a guy that can get a basket every time. It's not for him to get the ball like that, because he's not a creator like that yet.
This is what I'm saying. I am not making excuses for anybody on this team, including RJ Barrett. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like RJ Barrett, there are times when RJ Barrett, too, has his moments where he isolates and holds the ball or takes bad shots. I'm not making excuses for anybody. I'm saying, I feel like RJ Barrett has his times just like anybody else. You went 1 for 5 in the fourth quarter. 5 of those shots, 1 for 5 in the fourth quarter. Most of those shots were 3s where he had a chance where he could have went to the basket, but he launched the 3. There was 1 or 2 where, he caught the ball and it was at a point in time where he had to launch up a 3. But most of the time he gets the ball, he has some seconds on that clock where he can go to the basket still. You know what I'm saying? And, he bailed himself out by shooting 3s because their defense was tough. So he bailed himself out. That's what I saw. That's what I saw. RJ Barrett did not play well last night. He shouldn't even have been in the fourth quarter, in my opinion. Mike Miller, trust him. Want to ride his young rookie. I get it. I understand it. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see if, I'm pretty sure he'll make some adjustments come the next game. But, I'm not making any excuses for RJ Barrett in his play. When he plays bad, he plays bad. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to call it. I'm not going to make any excuses for him. Andy, what's going on with you, bro?
Yo, what's up, Sim?
I'm good, man. How
to
you
make
feeling?
It clear, I still didn't watch the game, and I don't know the result even.
Oh, you don't know the result?
But I saw that that you were alive, so I'm gonna join in.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna say the result. Then tell them guys don't tell you the result, all right? Because I'm sure you're gonna watch the game.
I think it's possible. Even when I see Mark here, man, it has to be bad, man.
But can we win versus Atlanta? I'll put it that way. Can we win versus Atlanta? If I was you, I wouldn't look at the YouTube chat.
The truth, I think this is one of the teams that we match up really good. And even, that Trae Young can have an explosive game with the trays and stuff like that, the 3-pointers. I still think if we just don't switch and put Frank or Alfred on him at all times, I think we can, disrupt their offense so much that we can have a chance to get a W. And this is one of the teams that I actually think the Knicks have a pretty good chance to win. And that would be, man, everything that I have to say about this preview for Atlanta Hawks. I just hope that they're not gonna switch on screens, and God forbid they're gonna go around the screens, below the screens. They have to sit on Trae all the time.
Nah,
So
I agree with you. I agree with you. They got to be on them tight the entire game because they send a lot of screens for Trae Young. They want to get Trae Young handling the ball in the paint and then finding guys open in the paint and those type of things. So they got to.
That would be my tactics, to get the ball out of Trae Young's hand and let everyone else try to beat us than Trae Young, because he can get 40, 50 points on a team like us if we're gonna let him shoot. So that's the thing we gotta disrupt their offense by our defense, man to man, non-switching stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. Let me get to Kareem, and then because I'm gonna be getting out of here shortly because I got to get to practice myself. Kareem, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going, son?
I'm good. Tell me, tomorrow night versus Atlanta. This is a team we should be able to get a win against.
I think we could pull it out. Yeah, you know what's so crazy about this team, though, Sim? And I don't know if you noticed this last night. The reason why we put ourselves in a position to win is we had a very dominant third quarter. I think we scored like 31 points in the third quarter, if I'm not mistaken.
Points. 33 points in the third.
Yeah. So if you notice, when it came down the stretch, when we took the lead, and I was saying this, a lot of these games that we are in, it's because we have players that we dominate the paint because we don't shoot well outside. So what Denver did was they took the paint away from us and they forced us to shoot. And we had no answer for it. We could not hit the side of a barn.
Right.
So, but we came back and, put ourselves in, in a position to win. But of course, like you said before, and, along with a lot of other people, is got to have stronger starts. I don't want it to where we get into this game and Trae Young is just going off from the start of the horn.
Right.
And to be honest with you, man, it's like with our team, this dude within this last 4 games, he's proven, Alfred Payton now, when he's on the floor, you can kind of like relax. You got somebody that's going to take control of the team. Once he has to sit down and rest, we don't have another point guard that's going to take control like he does. So then you got Barrett playing point guard, which I can't stand.
I don't like having Barrett play point guard either. I think it takes away from the rest of his game at this point in his career.
Mm-hmm. We got a lot of guys like Barrett, like Knox, where we're not utilizing them off the ball. Like Knox is an off-the-ball player. We don't use him in that manner. So how can we, then get success out of him? It's impossible.
We'll see. We're still looking to see what Mike Miller is going to do. You know what I'm saying? And how he's going to continue to use these guys. Of course, we've seen some things, but we'll continue to see what Mike Miller is going to do and how this offense and how this team develops under Mike Miller. All right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to get out of here in like 3 minutes. So before I do that, I just want to run through this little game preview real quick to end the show. And I'm gonna let you guys get back to work. I know you got a lot of stuff to finish up before you start getting on that train ride home or bus ride home or car ride home or walking home or taking a bike, a scooter, skateboard, whatever you do. The Knicks play tomorrow night versus the Atlanta Hawks at the Garden, 7:30 p.m. Local TV, MSG, Radio, ESPN, New York, 98.5. The head coach of the Knicks is Mike Miller, is interim head coach. All right, the projected starters for the Knicks, Frank Ntilikina, R.J. Barrett, Marcus Morris, Julius Randle, Taj Gibson. Injuries for the Knicks, Reggie Bullock, he's out with a neck. Wayne Ellington, sore left Achilles. Alonzo Trier, he's still dealing with a concussion protocol. For the Atlanta Hawks, head coach Lloyd Pierce. The projected starters for the Hawks, Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, Jabari Parker, and Damian Jones. All right, the injury report right now, there's no injury reports for the Atlanta Hawks. Kevin Huerter, he was out with his shoulder, but he played last night versus the Los Angeles Lakers, so I'm assuming that he's going to be playing versus the Knicks. Looking at the numbers behind the game, both teams are 6-21. The Knicks are on a one-game losing streak. They were just on a two-game winning streak. They lost last night to the Denver Nuggets in a close game. They averaged 101.2 points per game. They gave up 111.1 points per game. They shoot 42.4% from the field, 34.4% from three, and 45.3%. They grab 45.3 rebounds per game. They average 20.1 assists per game and 14.6 turnovers per game. Their offensive rating is 102.6. That's 30th in the league. Their defensive rating is 112.6. That's 25th in the league. The Atlanta Hawks are on a 4-game losing streak. All right, they average 108.1 points per game. They give up 117.8 points per game. They shoot 44.9% from the field, 33.9% from three. They average 42.1 rebounds per game, 23.6 assists per game, and 17.5 turnovers per game. Their offensive rating is 104.4. That's 26th in the league. And their defensive rating is 113.6. That's 27th in the league. All right, the key matchup to tomorrow night's game is Trae Young and Frank Ntilikina. I think that's a key matchup. You can add Elfrid Payton in here as well, because both of these guys are going to have to defend Trae Young. The key is to not let Trae Young go crazy, not let Trae Young kill us in the paint. Defend Trae Young as he runs off of multiple screens. Trae Young is 6'1", 180, averages 27.8 points per game, 4.2 rebounds per game, 8.5 assists per game, and 1.2 steals per game. Shoots 44.3% from the field, 36.8% from three. Frank Ntilikina, 6'7", 200 pounds, guard/forward. He averages 6.1 points per game, 2 rebounds a game, 3.1 assists, and 1.4 steals. Shoots 38.2% from the field and 32.8% from three. Frank Ntilikina is a good defender. He has his nights where he doesn't play his great defense, but he's a good defender. We need to rely on Frank Ntilikina to defend Trae Young. Elfrid Payton is a good defender. Both of these guys can defend Trae Young. Trae Young is going to get his, you know it. They send him off a million screens every single possession. So we've got to have guys fight over those screens. But while they're fighting over the screen, you need the person who is defending the screener to help out. And then you need somebody to help out the person who is defending the screener. Then you need someone to help out that person. That's how you play help side defense. Until Frank Ntilikina recovers. Once Frank Ntilikina or Elfrid Payton recovers, then everybody else can get back to their man. But that's how we got to defend them. And at times, we got to send traps. Right? Whoever is the screener, the person defending the screener, you send a trap. That person traps. Make him pass the ball to the open, screener. Get the ball out of his hand. Make these other guys score a little bit. They can score. Jabari Parker averages 16 points per game. John Collins, 17 points per game. I think Huerter's are like 8 or 9 points per game. All right, but make these guys put up some points. Keys to the game, ladies and gentlemen. Bring the energy. We've been bringing good energy. We got to keep it up. Keep that energy coming. All right, let's make it hard on Trae Young. Like I said, let's trap him. He scored 23 points when he played against us in the preseason. All right, let's make it hard on him. Trap him. All right, make it difficult for him to get into the paint or to get off shots. Whatever you do, don't go under screens against him because he's going to knock it down. All right, and don't play loose. Don't let him get comfortable. Protect the paint. The Hawks average 52.4 points per game in the paint. That's 4th in the league. A lot of that is because Trae Young gets into the paint and then he dishes it off and facilitates. All right, so we got to find a way to protect that paint. Win the rebounding battle. When we played the Hawks in the preseason, they out-rebounded us by 13 or 14 rebounds. That cannot happen, shouldn't happen, especially when you're not a good shooting team like we are. Keep a starter in the game with the bench. All right, you always got to keep a starter in the game, in my opinion, with this team. We're not good enough. Our bench isn't good enough or consistent enough to play without there being a starter in the game. Julius Randle, Marcus Morris, R.J. Barrett, whoever's having a good game, whoever fits with the lineup, keep one of those guys in the game, in my opinion. We need ball movement and to attack the paint. The Atlanta Hawks, while they score 52.4 points per game in the paint, they give up 51.9 points per game in the paint. That's 27th in the league. So it's there. All right, we got to keep the ball moving, attack the paint, and also playing transition. Atlanta's 23rd in the league in allowing fast break points. All right, let's try to take advantage of that. Playing transition, attack the paint. Those are my keys to the game, ladies and gentlemen. Those are my keys to the game. And listen, I'm going to let you guys get up out of here so you can get back to work, focus on your jobs, and I'm going to get to basketball practice. All right? I appreciate you guys for being here with me, taking the time out, but I got to go, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you guys tomorrow night after the game. And who knows? You know, I got a couple ideas, a couple of thoughts I'm having. I might have a video here or there, you know, to kind of talk about some trades and some things like that. All right? So I'm out of here. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow night. Be peaceful. Have a great start to your week. And I'm out. Peace.